also want to know what's standard in the area. You want to know if you own the smallest home in the neighborhood, or perhaps you own the biggest home in the neighborhood, and you want to be aware of what your competition is doing. So the two approaches I use, once you get your list, what you want to look for is what are homes that are in a similar square feet range than yours is. So if you have like a 1,600 square foot home, you can look a little bit less, a little bit more, maybe 1,400 to 1,800 square feet. But those are going to be your best indicators. Although if you can find other homes that are the exact same square footage as yours, those will be your best indicators as far as how to price your home based on price per square footage. Now, this is not always the best indicator. Sometimes you may just have to look at what homes are selling for, because you'll see certain neighborhoods where you'll just see a price range between $140,000 $160,000, and the square footage can be anywhere from 1,200 up to 2,000 square feet. So in some neighborhoods, price per square footage is not the best indicator. So you want to use those two different approaches. Although I prefer the price per square foot. It's the most common one. It's the best one, I think, but it's not always possible. So you want to be able to judge when to use which one. The next thing you want to look at is how long is it taking for these properties to sell, especially if you're planning on pricing your home above market value. And again, your personal situation will dictate whether or not this will be a smart move or not. And whenever possible, go visit some of the homes that are out on the market and compare. As far as knowing what the market is doing, obviously whether the market is going up or down, most importantly, who's buying. Are there investors coming out and buying? Are there first-time home buyers, second home buyers, relocation, move-up buyers? And how are they financing these homes? Because you want to know what your strong selling points are. In a market where FHA is more common, you got more first-time home buyers, and they're looking for help with closing costs. Well, if you can afford to, help someone with closing costs, perhaps you have a stronger selling point. If short sales are not approving closing costs, or if they are, you may be able to do something more for them. So you want to look at that, and also you want to know the inventory. What's the inventory like? Is there more homes up for sale than there was a couple of months ago? Is there less? What is that telling you as far as will prices go up in value or not? So you want to look at what other homes are for sale and how the inventory is behaving. And last, you want to start to take into consideration your own personal situation. Are you relocating? Did you buy a second home? If you bought a second home and you plan on putting your house up for sale, and you want to sell for top market value, well, you might not be it may not be smart for you to price above market value if you look at what homes are taking to sell. If you price them at that price range, if it's going to take you a year and a half, will it actually be more costly for you to hold that house, or your carrying costs for a year and a half, than to actually just try and sell at market value or even a little bit below. So you want to look at that. Or do you have another hardship, like perhaps a divorce? Maybe you lost your job. So you want to know how fast you have to sell the house. Perhaps you want to you might want to consider if your home is worth less than what you actually owe. There are going to be other pricing considerations when doing a short sale, and also you might want to look into how much time you have to prepare the house up for sale. So if you're planning on sale for for market value or above, but you don't have the time to make all the necessary improvements to be able to do so, well, then you might not be able to. Now, with that being said, if you do have time and are able to do improvements, you want to know what improvements you can do that will add more value and you can actually make money on, and what not to do, because you may do some improvements and not be able to raise the price on the house, so you may actually end up losing money if you do some of these improvements. So you want to have good judgment, and also it's just going to depend if you have the budget to do some of these things. Some of the most basic and common ones are carpet. You need to know when it's a good idea to replace the carpet, repaint the house. quick tip with tile, you may want to clean the grout. They have paint, so you can actually go to Home Depot or Lowe's and buy paint and paint the grout, and it makes a huge difference when you have a clean grout. It's like night and day difference. So that's like a free little tip that I'll throw out in here. Most importantly, you want to focus on the kitchen and bathroom to make any improvements, if any. But again, you want to look at what's standard in the neighborhood. If you have, if you're in a neighborhood where granite countertops is a standard, well, you may want to consider adding granite countertops if you don't have some. But if you live in a neighborhood where granite countertops are not standard, well, then adding granite countertops may cost you more than what you'll actually get for the house. So look into that. And then last but not least, a clean backyard and good curb appeal are really one of the areas of a house that will give you the greatest return on investment, because they're easy fixes, they're cheap, and they can increase the value of a property by significantly. So with that, any questions that you have, please feel free to contact us or just leave us a comment here. Let us know what else you would like to know, and we'll be sure to provide some more information to you.